Homeowners, should you be taking note on what home builders are doing to sell their new construction homes? Let's discuss. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. We are part of the Hatch Homes group, and this is our Monday housing market update. You got Randolph and Angela today. So we are going to talk about things you can learn from maybe new construction builders, right? New construction sales have been on the rise. I mean, Randolph is just selling new construction like nobody's business.
It's just trending at the
Yeah.
moment.
And, like we're seeing like some of these incentives that builders are offering to buyers, they seem to be working, right? Like we've been seeing a lot of builder credits or buying down interest rates and all these like fancy bells and whistles that is enticing buyers to bite and sell their homes.
That's right. So, here's the thing. If your home is not selling and it's currently in the market, maybe you need to kind of understand what are some of the incentives that new construction is giving buyers to be competitive in this market to sell, their inventory. All right. So here's one of the things that we have to keep in mind. So interest rates, as you know, slightly went back up. So we're hovering currently around 7%. So all you buyers and sellers, the whole rate buy down is not going anywhere quite yet.
Yeah, we definitely, we're writing off this like positive vibes of what the economists were saying that interest rates were going to keep going down. Then what they do, they went up. So it's probably going to be like that. And so these interest rate buy downs, yeah, like what Rando said, like we probably still have to be thinking about that in our marketing strategy and for affordability in general. But what like when do you need to change your listing strategy and when do you not? So if your home isn't selling, I really do think that there's some cool things that we can learn from what builders are doing, right? Like Rand, if we were talking, there's like red tag sale, like on the
Mhm.
last of a development to move credits toward, like I said, credits towards buy downs or credit towards upgrades. Like, a lot of residential sellers aren't really tapping into that strategy that really does seem to be working for builders. Um, and there's certain things like I often see in like the private remarks and listings, seller willing to buy down an interest rate, but it's not really specific, right? Like it's not really like gonna grab the consumer like what the builders are doing. So maybe in your marketing, you're making it a little bit more obvious in the public remarks, seller to buy down to this interest rate or seller to buy down your interest rate by this amount, like just be a lot more specific and in your face because that's what builders are doing. And huge thing is understand the concept of a model home, right? Builders care about having a model home, having a staged unit that's clean and pretty. Well, how does your home look? What does your home look like? Are you putting the effort into your listing to make it look like a model home? I mean, we can attest that we do searches every single day and we see a lot of subpar properties that are the seller, listing agent, whoever made the choice not to make their house look as best as it could be to get it on the market. We all know that everyone has different situations, but we also know that it sells your house quicker and for more money.
Mm. Yeah, I like to add, as you probably know, having it staged, you can imagine how big that coffee table will look like, how big that couch will look like. So it really does make a difference on the buyer or the consumer's eyes.
Yeah, and builders aren't really doing virtual staging. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's my
Very
little
good point.
anti-virtual staging plug.
It
But
worked
okay,
to get them
yeah.
in the door, but when you
Gets them
get
in the
there,
door, but then once they're in the door, anyways.
it's
Um,
short-term memory, that.
Randa,
Yeah.
when do you need to change your strategy? And when do you like not need to worry about any of this competing with new construction?
Well, yeah, great question, Angela. So, quite honestly, it really depends on the area. And so if it's a very desirable area, you don't really need to change your strategy. But if it's in less desirable, maybe you need to kind of tweak the pricing to be relatively competitive to draw more buyers to stop by your house and consider the possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I tell a story of if you're in a neighborhood where you have a lot of new construction going in, that is a
That's
big
true.
sign that you will have to compete with it. So I had a listing that was like built in the 80s. It was beautiful, remodeled, but we were in an area where we're just like surrounded by huge new construction developments. And it really did have an effect on our sale. You know, buyers would come in and they'd be like, this is a great house, and I could get more yard with this house, but I could go to this new construction development, get a 1 year warranty, and get all the bells and whistles. So we really ended up having to pivot our strategy to compete with that. So if you're in that type of community, maybe in the, we were in the 80s built, if you're in the early 2000s, then that's definitely something that you have to consider. You're up against new construction. So you're up against a model home. You should make sure your home looks like a model home. Um, and, like if you're priced well and dialed in, yeah, like you don't really have to worry about this stuff. Like homes are still selling in hot neighborhoods or homes that are priced that like, dialed in. So you're not having to compete with new construction in every single situation. But bottom line, if you're already listed on the market and your home isn't selling, then have that conversation with your agent. What do I need to do to like compete with what's actually with my competition, right? How do I look the prettiest and the best price? There's other things that go into it too. Like I was just looking at some listings and seeing, well, okay, this house looks cute. It seems like it's priced well, but there were some other things on it that I was like, you're turning off consumers. So have that conversation. If you don't have a realtor, you know where to reach out.
All right.
Here, we can strategize when you need to compete with new construction, when you really don't. And thanks so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.